people think Australia finishes at Cape York. This is where it finishes. This is the border. Over there is my island of Saibai. Over there is Papua New Guinea. This is Torres Strait.
Physically and culturally, the Torres Strait region is a unique part of Oceania, Australia and Queensland. Approximately 8,000 years ago, sea levels worldwide were considerably lower, and the present-day islands of New Guinea and Australia were joined. With an increase in sea levels, the land bridge was partially submerged, and the higher peaks formed some of the region's islands.
When the water rose, those that got stranded in those areas had to develop something. So they had to develop a source of living, their own scientific survival kit, you might say, which is the culture.
There are 5 distinct island clusters in the region, each reflecting different aspects of the region's geomorphology. Remnant mountain tops help form the neo-western cluster, including the inhabited islands of Badu, Mabuyag and Moa. They also help form the inner western cluster, including Waiben or Thursday Island, Ngurpai or Horn Island, Kiriri or Hammond Island, and Muralug, also known as Prince of Wales. The top western cluster includes the alluvial islands of Boigu and Saibai, and the remnant mountaintop of Duan. The Central Islands cluster includes the hills, reefs and cays of Ayama or Turtleback Island, Masig or York, Purma or Coconut Island, and Warber or Sioux Island. The volcanic Eastern Island cluster includes Erub or Darnley Island, Mare in the Murray Island group, and Ugar or Stephen Island. The other recognised part of the Torres Strait is the Northern Peninsula area, with its 2 islander settlements of Bamaga and Saisia, and the 3 Aboriginal communities of Injinu, Umagico and New Mapoon. Bamaga and Saisia were settled by migrants from Saibai.
Particularly in 1948, people from Saibai moved and migrated to Bamaga, which is a community being established by the government for the people of Saibai at the tip of Cape York. The reason why the people of Saibai migrated to tip of Cape York was because Saibai was getting a lot of tidal flooding throughout the village, and also there was a big shortage of water during the dry season, and people had to get some water from nearby Duan, and it was very hard work. So people from Samu clan, Samu is Emu clan, decided that they should find somewhere else, a lot more safer place, and place where there is a lot of water, and also somewhere closer to the administrative center which is Thursday Island. Well, while this was going on, the Kudal crocodile clan people of Saibai decided also to move to Cape York, and so they settled at a place now called Saisia. It used to be called Red Island Point.
The fact that many islands have indigenous names as well as English names harks back to the region's colonial era, which, although it had a huge impact, is just part of a rich and colourful history. Culturally, human settlement of the Torres Strait region dates back at least 2,500 years. The people who settled the region from the north had a Melanesian background, whilst those who settled from the south had an Aboriginal background. The most notable of those from the south were the Kawareg people.
Mawai, right Ailan tarapa Palilag, paino Princeville na kita tarapa Muralag wa Princeville. Amnaila na Kiriri, town wat na Phuket tarapa Waibin.
I just want to introduce you to one of our most sacred areas in our region. This is our ancestor. This is Wobin. Wobin is the first Kawareg. This is his Malu. This is his territory. And he's the Adi for Kawareg people. The great warrior.
The Torres Strait region is named after the Spanish explorer Luis Bayes de Torres, who sailed between Australia and New Guinea in 1606. Although other mariners may have previously explored the region, the voyage of Torres is the first verified exploration by Europeans. Due to the intense political and economic competition between colonial powers such as Spain, France, Britain, Holland, and Portugal, new discoveries were jealously guarded. It was not until 1762 that the British acquired a copy of Torres's chart. In the late 1700s and early 1800s, the British mariners and explorers Cook, Bligh, Flinders and others charted the numerous and dangerous reefs and channels of the region. As a result, sailing ships increasingly could use the Torres Strait to sail to and from the east coast of Australia to Southeast Asia and beyond. There were interactions, both hostile and friendly, between the explorers and the indigenous inhabitants of the region.
So my great-great-grandfather, commonly referred to as King Kebusu, was really, a great chief, a leader, or as we refer to in the central and western islands as a Kuimabaig, or a big man, important man. In his time, he had a massive reign over quite a large area that included, the central islands of the Torres Strait. There are a number of journal recordings of where Bligh and the Assistance and the Providence, I think it was the two boats that actually saw him in the water. An interaction whereby they came a bit too close to Warrior Island, so the natives got on the canoes and the islanders from Tudu, and then they came to the boat, and someone ordered a cannon be fired just to warn them off, and this of course triggered a reaction from some of the first canoes closest to the ship firing that cannonball, and some returned fire with their bow and arrows, and others jumped in the water. And as I understand it, the recording is that the the crew, the ship, and the vessel, everybody was standing on the side of the boat, and what was written was they were in the water and swimming like no different to how they observed dolphins in the water. That's how quick they were, and I think that's something that obviously would have been a skill developed over time, to survive in that type of environment.
The maritime industries, the lure of biche de mer, pearl shells and other marine resources in the mid-1800s brought a permanent migration of non-Indigenous peoples from all over the world into the region. The pearling and biche de mer industries flourished, and the Thursday Island settlement, established in 1877, became the commercial and administrative hub as many luggers and steamships dropped anchor in the harbour.
About 300 there, right near Hospital Point, straight out from that hostel there. From there, that used to be Park was pearling station there. Straight out from there, and he'd anchor all his boats there. And then next one is Burns Phillip and Company. And there were other pearling stations right up to Hocking Point. Hocking, where Rebel Marine is now. Hocking, they had the last fleet up there, the pearling fleet. And in between there was other pearling stations in between the two.
One of the most significant events in recent Torres Strait history is what is known today as the Coming of the Light. Christian missionaries with the London Missionary Society arrived at Erub on the 1st of July 1871, which began the spread of Christianity throughout the whole Torres Strait region. Deacon Boer Mabo talks about how Christianity was a good fit with pre-colonial religious beliefs such as Malo.
The coming of the light was celebrated because it was similar like Malo's law. The Malo's law was observed by Murray Islander, Darnley Islander, Stephen Island. So I think from that they celebrate the coming of the light. We were there, do the same thing like the church law. When the church come, it taught us the same thing like Malo taught all our grandfathers and us today. If you take the Malo's law to the church law, thou shalt not steal, tag mauki mauki, right? It's similar.
The spirit travels to the universe and forms in the mother's womb. It first becomes a member of a clan. The mother's womb is full of sounds of languages, the original languages of the islanders, long before the child is born.
Adle get mimikak muyar. Naluka derebli. E umeri ya udawer. Kapeka nami ya biditagili.
There are 3 languages spoken in the Torres Strait. There are 2 traditional languages and a English-based Creole, which we call Yumplato. And the 2 traditional languages are Meriam Mir and Kalalagauya. Meriam Mir is spoken in the eastern islands of Erub, Mer and Ugar. And the Kalalagauya is spoken in the western and central islands. There are 4 dialects of Kalalagawia. The top western dialect is called Kalaukawawia, and the near western dialect is called Mabuyak dialect. The inner islands or Kaiwalagal dialect is called Kaurareg, and the central island dialect is called Kulkalgawia. In the central islands, the language is no longer spoken every day.
Kulkalgau language is from my area, in that Kulkalgau clan, and our people they stopped using their language, say on Yam Island, and but our language is still there in the songs. So in that regard, I tend to think of it as being dormant, but we need to wake it up and have it a living language rather than something that's not being used. Growing up, I was aware of some things we said were in language, mostly naming things. Like one that immediately comes to mind is ants, was musu. If you're spreading the mat, you say pay them in. So there were language when I was growing up, but it wasn't used. I didn't use language on a day-to-day basis. We were brought up using Yumpla talk. It's very important for our children to be able to have their language, because their language is part of their identity. And to me, it's like music to my ear if I hear someone speaking their own language like that, because I'm totally fascinated with it, because I'm not a fluent speaker of any of the languages, but I'm really interested in getting children to learn their language again and to be able to use them and use them fluently. We've got quite a way to go, but this is a start, and in the school, with language being introduced back into our curriculum, I think it's going to make a lot of difference to how our kids are learning.
The languages in the Torres Strait needs to be maintained and revitalized and be spoken. Like it's everyday thing. You need to use the language. For your language to live is for you to make it live. Language dies out if you don't speak it. Culture dies out if you don't maintain it. Tradition dies out if you don't practice it. So there's 3 things in one, like the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
My name is Jeffer. I'm a Crocodile Clan man. My wind is Sager, or the southeast trade wind. My star constellation is E. This is how a Torres Strait Islander will identify with another islander.
The structure of Torres Strait society can seem complex to an outsider, especially when you also factor in traditional adoption.
When a child is conceived, parents of the child may adopt for different reasons. One of them is to strengthen the kinship system or the family relationships. Another one may be if another couple within the same clan who are childless may adopt a child. Traditionally, when a child is adopted, the whole village would know that it is a taboo to say anything about that child being adopted until the time is appropriate. It would be the adopted parents that would let the child know. It is their responsibility to let them know when the time is appropriate.
Sharing has always been a strong part of Torres Strait culture.
There's another culture that going here that time. This was in mid-30s, mid-20s. If someone goes to this reef here now, they go to the other island, they corral, a spear fish. When they come back, these all houses start from here, right up to the church. That person must leave one fish for each houses, all the way. Now if the person only got 8 fish and there's 15 houses here, you go home with no fish. This uncle of mine come up from corral, got lots of fish, but he couldn't get home. There was last house, you have to leave that fish there and go home with nothing and tell the grandfather and grandmother, I will get plenty fish, but I leave one. They say, oh, good boy. Now all them sister, the brother got about six sisters. They all leave their job. They all go down the reef, that side. They get clam, they get whatever, spotted cod. So that afternoon, everybody eat seafood, even that family. So this Uncle Peter, when he go out again, spearfish, he makes sure he got more to cover them 12 houses or 15 houses, whatever, to put one. It's the culture's like this. They don't speak, oh, give me that fish. No, it's up to Uncle Peter. Now, because that saying is like this, if Uncle Peter knows this house here that's been here before, but 12 people live here or 10 people, and obviously give them big fish. Next house here, only got 2 people, small fish. All the way, and I always want to repeat this, because this is the culture based on sharing.
In Torres Strait, we mark every stage of life by performing certain rituals from birth till death and beyond death.
This one you call mallet ceremony. Last time this ceremony was done was 27 years ago, when I was a small boy. I was young. My great grandfathers, they done the same mallet ceremony for me. This one it's something where it happened way before coming of the light. This one here for my son, my eldest son. This happened for eldest son of the eldest son of the eldest son. This one here, this ceremony is a more of a blessing, and blessings from the fathers, blessings from the fathers and grandfathers down to the son. Blessing for he'll be a good hunter when he comes big. He will provide food for his family when he comes big. He'll be a great role model for his village. He'll be a spokesman and things like that. This ceremony is only belong to Masig people, Masig Gilgal. We treasure and we got big respect for mallet. This one here, mallet country. Mallet is all year round found here. This specific time here, we pick my son's birthday. This is what we call Sulu. This is the time when all the mallet are full. They fat and they got egg in their belly. This is a good time. One grandfather is an eldest of the clan group. The other one is the grandfather. The other one is the grandfather. The other grandfather will be good seaman. He will be talking about the sea. The other one is the dancing leader of the place. So he'll be getting blessed from different elders where they are good at certain things. So he'll be getting blessed from all certain areas. after that, the son, the baby's grandmother, grand-auntie, great-grand-auntie, she's the one will cook the fish for him, roast it, and feed him. Feeding that one, feed him with the same fish after it's been cooked. He eats the blessing from what the grandfather has spoken over him. So he eats it into his spirit. Yeah. If I can come, Forten, Kanurialo, Matt. If I can come as an education teacher, we go scratch the leg blame and teach about education, and as a dance leader law, ngalpun lag. Middle one.
Father God, I pray, Father God, that I will be strong in the Lord. Bless you with all the gifts of the Spirit, mighty God. The gift of word of wisdom, the gift of word of knowledge, gift of prophecy.
You will be a great man of culture and everything that's handed over to you now, today.
When they finished, they'll blow the bush shell. His uncle's gonna fry the mallet, while my big elder sister, she's his auntie, will bath him, washed all the scratches off from his legs.
Ito yun na. Wah.
Kanana.
Kanana.
Okay, finish.
I hope my son will keep this tradition on now what we go through with me, the ceremony, and him, that the knowledge I've got culturally, he will have, and he will pass on to his child, his Pikinini, and Pikinini Bloem, and so forth, that this culture won't die, it will survive.
This mat has a special place in the culture of the Torres Strait Islanders. You see, upon this mat a young child is born. Upon this mat initiations takes place. Upon this mat marriages take place. Upon this mat community decisions are made. And upon this mat our loved ones are put to rest. This mat represents the way the culture is interwoven in our lives as people of the Torres Strait Islands.
The
If you were to generally ask someone a question around the seasons or ask them to refer to the seasons, it is most likely that people will tell you or refer to spring, summer, autumn, winter as categories for the seasons that they know. But if you were asking a Torres Strait Islander person about the seasons, you would most likely get a completely different answer. Because Torres Strait Islander people don't necessarily align their seasons that they know with spring, summer, autumn or winter. The seasons that Torres Strait Islander people will refer to would most likely be things that are associated with either the land, the sea, the winds, maybe the migration patterns of the birds, the vegetation around them, as well as the sea animals and animals on the land. As an example of the sign that the environment will provide to you or stimulate you around looking at the season that you're experiencing, an example could be the cookie wind when it blows, and when it stops blowing, there'll be abundance of squid around, so people would be out squidding. What people do in their communities will depend on what's happening around them in their environment. Say, for example, if you know that the turtle mating season is coming on, you'll see them preparing their wap, their harpoon, and getting their spears and the other tools ready for hunting. For a Torres Strait Islander person, when you talk about a particular season, it does not necessarily mean you just talk about one thing. You see, for us in the Torres Strait environment, everything is interrelated. So what's happening at this particular season, there's something else happening in your environment as well that will tell you things. It will give you signals, it will give you signs about the types of seasons that's coming up. And it could also give you information as to the types of the season, whether it's going to be a good season or a not so good season. For example, if the mango tree has a lot of flowers on it at the beginning of the mango season, most local people will anticipate that it would be a really good turtle mating season.
My name is Ismail Giboma, Boigo Ranger, and I'm also a custodian of this island. This is my island, Boigo. So I'm working for Kia Rangers. Kai bakuta pa kai magina yang kudu. Base mapa total on dugong sustainability. And it's really important that we need to look after the animals, turtle and dugong, for the next generation to come. To our cultural protocols, we practice that every day. That's our livelihood. We know how much we kill, and there are closer areas within that management plan that we put up. The whole community was agreed. That's where we allow our dugong and turtle to be paired in that area. So no hunting. So that's the cultural protocols. And because it's so important to us, we then put that into a management plan, and then we introduce to the government people, so that we can all manage together, working as a country plan.
Ina nubi gilil nga, ina lau nu ngal kaija, in mina za kapagagatap. Dapar gimal malo apal, gat gimal, ita pul sajipa. Matanga dagi ngal pan kajiu kajipa nubi jaget. muinu aran gamul bengau wakaita mama inu nuin chene bijake kutanga kifimani kursi pasei milaga tana kajil nge palngaru ngaru mulai kan.
The swamp is important to us because we've got fish in the swamps, even prawns. We try wanna, monitor them, and also try and keep them for the right season of the year, where we can harvest all together. Includes our families. We don't want fish to get disturbed, like where there's no time for harvest yet, but that's why we keep eye out on our swamps, because we are connected traditionally, our families, clan groups. Part of our job is to look for, especially for weeds and damaged land and plant, because we have Russia deer on the land, so we don't want to get our lands too disturbed. We are culturally connected, our families, to the swamps. That's why it is important to hold on to the culture, because without culture we are nothing.
These instruments are used in the music of the Torres Strait Islanders. This instrument is called theram. This is marap. And this is kulap. And this is burubur or warup. And these instruments make the amazing rhythm, and the voices makes the beautiful melody.
Music has always been a major part of culture in the Torres Strait region. Historically, there were particular songs associated with major rituals. There were also songs sung with all kinds of games, such as ball games and string games, and also songs for fishing and food gathering. Music was also an important part of religion. Women are often the lead singers, and senior community women may hold many hymns in their collective memories. Today, there are two main styles of music in the region, which can be broadly termed the secular and the sacred. They are sung in traditional languages, Torres Strait Creole and English.
A simple song like going to work on the railways and things like that, or work in a boat. People make the song straight in the meaning, but they pick out the important part, and that tells a story. Like you can't. Songwriting is not like you may sit down and have a conversation. You may yarn everything in detail. They only one part here, one part there. You straight away, when you join them together, you have a story.
They went and worked away from home. They trapped that piece of time in song. And the tales were told through them, that we never lost our history. Because I always tell a lot of people, that was our way of writing our history, keeping a record of our history. we did it that way. It was commemorated through song. And we could recall them events. And like I said, if you ask me about a specific event, I can tell you, because all I have to do is recall that song and say, look, it was in this year, or, you know, and most of them songs do that. They have them songs, and like I say, you go out in the reefs, you'd have boat names even, things like that, you know, when you go out for, so you never forget though.
When I hear Purma song, it fills my heart with joy and tears at the same time, to realize who I am today, where I've come from as an individual Purmalite, and how can I preserve this rich, unique island identity. It makes me think about what was in the eyes and hearts of those composers when they captured those songs and those dances of a time which is very special and significant to them. But what makes it unique, what gives people an authentic experience, is how the harmonies and the melodies of the songs and how they blended in, and the way the drums are hit. It's quite different.
Well, the first album was year 2000. I was 70 years old, 70 years of age then. 74, I won my first ARIA award. 75, the Jimmy Little Lifetime Achievement Award. And 2009, I won another ARIA, my second ARIA award.
Blues in the day, blues in the night, blues in the evening time. No place to go, no friendly hello, still you're doing fine. When you're down and sad and blue, and she won't come to you, there's one thing sure and certain, you're gonna get those sunset blues.
There's a bit of blues, a bit of island, and it's all mixed up. It's a different style altogether.
Diving in the deep blue sea, searching for you, searching for the perfect pearl, my perfect pearl. And when I find you in this sea so blue, I'll never let you go, my perfect pearl.
Some contemporary songwriters also combine chants in traditional languages with stories in English.
What I'm focused on at the moment is actually modernizing. I don't know if that's the right word, but trying to get those old songs, like cultural songs from the past, and sort of mix it in, write English verses for them, and try to modernize it as well, especially with the music which surrounds it.
Sudden changes in the wind brings all to a standstill, complaining against the night air heat from afar. The thunder beat as it slowly approaches up down Ailan.
most of my compositions are about my day-to-day life and what has been taught to me by my father and grandfather. So it's just a showcase of where I truly belong and where I come from.
In traditional setting, various ceremonies are performed. The most important one is the coming of age ceremonies that are being performed, and it's still evident today with boys reaching manhood and girls reaching their womanhood. The great difference is that the boys, who are the important figure in a traditional setting, so their initiation ceremonies are made more public than the women. Women's ceremonies are taboo. They are not performed in public. It's all behind closed doors.
My name is Harry David and today is my shaving.
This is a very important time for this family, my cousin Joe and Betty, that they come to this point in time now where they will be able to see that the son will get shaved by the uncles, Joe's families and Betty's family here on the island.
My roles and responsibility as a master of ceremony today wasn't picked by the family, but that's a part of our culture, because here in this side we have two types of uncle. There's uncle of the mother side, which we call it a wadwam, and an uncle from brother side, which we call it howde. So I am one of the howde, and not as a cousin to Joe, but as a little brother. So I had to do this because this is my roles and responsibility on doing this. Joe's brother and my brother, cousins, they'll be around to have the share, to give the advice, and give them the knowing of being a manhood. Talk to them, like in our language we call it wakawian. It's an advice of what you're supposed to be and what you should do when you become a grown-up man. That is the next step, and the main thing of this is to show Joe's son Harry that the respect that he must have in the community while he's walking around, the identity, and we will speak strongly to him about this.
We've been prepared for this 4 weeks, taking our boy down to Mabiag to hunt for dugong. For 2 weeks he stayed there, then he came back.
In the process of saving, there were things like discussion around men's business, how men can conduct things, and there's discussing that how they can relate to things that may be affiliated with the women's business in the community. But more importantly, the discussion will be around how specifically the son or the nephew will be able to conduct things according to what the uncles are telling him to do.
Yeah, my responsibility was to get everything up here for the feasting, for Harry shaving. I have 2 children, I have plenty of nieces and nephews. They said, "Oh, Mom, sit back and we'll do everything. You just tell us what you want to be done, what you want to be cooked, and we'll do the rest." So they decorated the previous night, and then we just finished it off yesterday, and then set the table. Everything was cooked one time. So we only had to wait for the men this time. Yeah, when I lay down, it was like a symbol, like I recognized him to be taking the manly role, or because I've always looked after him, and it's like everything I'm throwing on the ground, that my worries are over. And he was supposed to walk on us but he's over 100 kilos, so he probably crushed us. So he just jumped over us. The regional tradition was that you walk over your mothers and aunties, but he said, "Oh, Mama, just put a foot on your back and said I've done it."
My favorite part of the ceremony was getting this off. Yeah, we call it yaka. Yeah, it's getting it off. I feel different, and yeah, I feel new. My haircut, a bit small, but it's okay. It'll be okay, yeah. It'll grow.
Ngaune lalik tipoti ngai maluili gau kaitu badu mua mabuyag kadakakit uda maluil gal saibai duan. My name is Alik Tipoti. I am a Maluilik from the Western Islander. My bloodline lies back to Badu, Mua, Mabuyag, Saibai and Duan. I like printmaking. I've tried all the different technique. The ones that most Torres Strait Islanders like is the lino, because it's similar to just carving, engraving and stuff. As how our forefathers did back in the days. But I've now sort of in the last couple of years self-taught myself in fiberglassing. So I'm now trying out different mediums, but I think fiberglassing is what I'll be doing for a while. My grandfather and his brothers were song composers and dance choreographers, like dance masters. So I've inherited that as well, create chants, songs, choreographed dance, and that has sort of supported my practice of mask making. Yes, I do not practice dances or create chants that are associated with the code or the sacred information, men's business, women's business. It's purely me as a modern day figure, and but at the same time reviving cultural language, songs, dance.
Well, Torres Strait people are natural born carvers due to the fact that they've been carving for centuries on material culture, and lino print on the other hand came from the West, from Holland and other European countries, including Japan as well. And it's those two put together. We therefore now use it as almost as storyboards to tell our stories, whether it's about our cultural heritage, environment, changing of the weather patterns, and more of the everyday life and other stuff like cultural awareness and educate it's a wonderful tool to use to educate the wider community for how we live in Torres Strait and all that. Yeah.
The mask is about planting. When they put up what's the name in the ground, then they wear a special ceremony to harvesting, and yeah. We call this one a mawa. All the framework we made out of cane, and then I wrap the cane with the twine so it can last long to cover the cane from weather. That's we call it sagaya. In Finland we call them samu. And we trade them across the border to New Guinea. And these feathers, like we try to get feathers up in Torres Strait because of the gun license and that. These things here we call them kazab, a nose piece. And this what's the name? Azazi, represent as a beard. Oh, it will take me, say, a month. Only depends if you got material provided, everything ready. Maybe you can finish it in, say, fortnight or maybe 3 weeks. So if every materials are available.
We started off first with one room, and then a second room. Then when Rata moved out from the third and fourth rooms, we ended up with the old building, and we've got the okay from the council, the Native Trail supporting us. We're going to get a lease over this place. I think it's the cutting edge of the Torres Strait art because it's done in the Torres Strait. It's done by Torres Strait Islanders, and it tells the everyday lifestyle meets life experience of the Torres Strait.
Well, I've been interested in art all my life. Well, my special thing is flower and shells and anything what comes around my mind, like ideas. Like if I go fishing or camping, I'll come up with an idea.
My favorite style of art is lino printing and wood carving. Things I like to draw, totems, my totems, family totems, crocodile, stingray and snake. Yeah, my family totems.
It's not something we just put on the paper or on the lino or the vinyl just for the fun of it. No, it's showing the outside world a bit of our lifestyle, a bit of our culture. If someone buys a printer, he's actually taking away a bit of Badu into his lounge or office space back on the mainland or something.
The Art Centre here at Ereb has been operating for about 5 years in a formal capacity, and in the last 3 years we've become an incorporated body, so it's managed through a board of directors and myself as the manager, and we've got about 10 core artists operating at the moment from here, and those numbers have grown from a group of about 6, so it's been a nice steady group of artists that we've got here and a consistent group. Just in the last 12 months we've been working with ghost nets, so the nets that have washed up on our reefs, the discarded nets that come on the beaches, and that's involved our rangers bringing up the material, and then we're turning that into jewellery pieces as well as sculptural pieces.
It's a bit of a nuisance on the beach and out on the sea. It's now kill turtle or dugong, things like that. So we have to collect them and do something out of them and do things like that, a bag, whatever we want to do. and add a piece of shells and things like that to make it look nicer. It really makes me feel good to do something like that. Do things out from the ghost net and every other scrap of things you find. You can just add it to the ghost net and it really looks beautiful when you make something out of it, recycling things.
Ngalbe wulfedani ba. Ngalbe inobi nubi gulu ngalbe Carlos Owaimudi. My father was a canoe builder from long time. I see my father make a canoe. I was there all the time for help. Me and my brother Wilson. Hey, no, go away, come watch me. And all them thing for me. If we could no make him, no kai for me too. No kai for supper. Now walk tomorrow because I last canoe builder. Yeah. Every them boys, the Torres Strait, they use outboard or dinghy, engine. Nobody can build canoe like this. My marker paketo umaino. I'm the last canoe builder.
Torres Strait dancing is the most spectacular you'll ever see. But remember, all of the dances has a special meaning.
I think it's all about like taking part, and you learn a lot of dancing through being involved in dancing. You learn various type of dancing. You learn to do just a contemporary dance where there's no costumes, and you learn a dance with costumes, and you learn dance for different occasions. I think it's all about getting involved in it, and some of the dances, like you can see, like there's, you get involved in when a dancer actually creates a new dance, and you being part of it. And sometimes these are new dances, but then there are occasions where you have to learn really traditional old dances, and some of the dances that they use really old costumes, and that's how it signifies it's a traditional, really traditional dance, and also that these dances are performed in different only for certain occasions that you can perform. So if you're going to learn a dance, you're going to learn the song first, because the choreographer, the person who compile or choreograph the dance, he listens to the words and then he choreographs the moves. Okay, I'll just demonstrate a couple of the moves. So the basic moves you would have. So okay, one of the basic moves you will have was, like I'm talking to boy goose style, would be just the pointing. That's a more basic pointing, and obviously it would sort of mime the actual words. So for example, if you're saying if someone about saying feeling sad, about like saying goodbye to a family, or going away and leaving family behind, and feeling sad would be, or if about someone crying, it would be the crying move. So bring it across the face, the tears, wiping up the tears, that kind of thing. If it was about going away to a place far away, so your move's actually pointing up to the sky, so it's far away. So it's far away from the place. If you were, let's say, for example, the dance would be, or the words would be about the sun.
the rising of the sun, you actually get the dancer would actually then mimic the rising of the sun, so the sun's coming up like that. So different moves represent different messages and different feelings as you do it.
As you see here, when I carry this here, it shows in the front of this dancing equipment here, it shows in the morning when the sun comes up, in the morning, and it's look like this, when the sun comes up. And when the sun begins to come up, it shows clear, then it comes like this. And this is the sun. And it shows like this as you follow through the dancing and the songs. And then when it comes to the evening, it comes by saying like this again. And this one calls a cockatoo dance. And it works on, it's made out of bamboo here on the flyerboard. And then this one here on the bamboo is made out of putting on your head like this. And then when the dance goes, it stays on, and then it stays up. And you just prick your head, stays on, stays up, and then stays on, and stays up. So this is how it works.
The cup carriers, it's a very old dance. The origins, I'm not too sure whether I could actually tell you where it's actually from. They have photos, some in the late 1700s, but they were always between them four islands. You'd see people on York, you'd see people on Darnley, on Murray Island. So what would you say? It's an issue that's much argued over. Like you'd hear people say, I'd hear a lot of people, like I said, with their Murray Island ties blow me. You'd hear a lot of the Murray Island families tell me, Kapkar blow me pla. It's a kind of thing, honestly, I don't think you can claim it because that's a part of culture we don't really know because they all danced, you see. It was an old form of dance. It was all associated with the religions that are now gone. When you do it, there's a certain way you need to do it. It's a very big and old dance, and it has to be performed properly. You need to do it respectfully. This is why whenever they do it, as you could see with your time here, you would have seen them island dancing there that night there, where you see the normal dances, you see people come with things like powder and stuff like that and put them on them dances or sprays and stuff like that, but you don't see it in the Kapkar. That's because it's a big dance, you're not allowed to do that there.
every family do up the roles and responsibility and what actually happened leading up to the unveiling of the tombstone. From preparation of cleaning the yard, organize everything down to various details of what need to be done leading up to this day, preparation for that, the day of the unveiling of the tombstone.
Right now we've got all the ladies here, all the preparation are done here at Daramut village for the opening tomorrow. And this morning all the guys went out and got the turtle and that. And today all the ladies have come together with everything on the table now. Everyone will take whatever they want to cook. They'll take it from here to their own houses, cook it there, and then bring it back here for the feasting. It's going to happen here at the village here.
What actually happened now, we got 5 kapmari here. Like we got the pig, turtle, and the vegetable and damper. So each kapmari is for separate cooking. What actually happened now, we prepare the one to put a pig in. All them boys that actually, what they're doing now at this point in time, they just prepare all the leaves. They kind of put a bit of heat with the banana leaf and the coconut leaf. It makes it a lot easier to work with it because you're going to kind of weave it. So it's a lot easier when you put a bit of heat onto it. They put a banana leaf over the meat that actually goes into the kapmari. When you cook something with banana leaf and coconut, it tastes totally different from an olive oil. Totally different. You can taste it tastes better. The cooking at the end of the day, when you prepare a kapmari, you look for a better flame, a better heat. You really got to get this rock to be very, very hot. So the preparation of putting this thing together, it's very, very vital. That's why when we're doing something like that, we really need all them younger generation to understand every little detail that we put in there is for a reason.
Tombstone opening in Torres Strait, he come from way back because Islanders got a lot of respect for the dead and the afterlife. Although the marbles and the thing came from European people, we've shaped it into the way we want to do it. So there's modern things there, the marble and writings and things, but you can see even designs by islanders for islanders, and the culture evolved and we made it ours. You can see we make a frame, the family goes in there, and you got hymns and things, it's quite a ceremony to it, yeah.
So being part of the invited
group to actually go into the enclosed area to unveil or do the unveiling of the tombstone. It's an absolute honor, a special privilege. I mean, for anyone who's basically invited to participate. I think that is a decision that's made by the family. In this instance, obviously, Abu's wife and possibly, her children would have decided who should be on the list. And I think in these occasions, you go to great lengths to ensure that you don't upset others by not including them, I think, but at the same time you ensure that not just anyone is invited to do that. And as I said, I was just really honored to be on that list, I guess. I think from memory of the group yesterday that all the families were represented. The friends and the community were represented as well.
The inscription you read, in loving memory of Franklin Jacob Mai, a dear husband and our most precious dad and granddad, Abu.
It's the sort of occasion where a range of different things happen to one. Obviously, remember him and celebrate, his time with us. And I think more than anything else, it gives all of us families and friends, and certainly in each island, it's generally an occasion for the community. We all get together, and I guess as you do on those sort of occasions, you have a great time. You get to enjoy some great meals, traditional cooking and what have you, and then of course you spend the night, watching the celebrations, the dances, special performances, and yeah.
One thing about Torres Strait Islanders is that they are happy people. And you haven't heard laughter until you meet and hear a Torres Strait Islander laughing.
The rich people of the sun, hesitation got the best of you. Something needs to be done. Alpun laga, green, white and blue. Mount Augustus wears a crown of cloud. Weather is foretold just for me, for the sea and land where I stand proud. Mary Bargate, green, white and blue. You can only understand the measure of the sea and sand. Feel the Sagel go. Only then can you know. Wherever you are, whatever you do, regardless of your color, is true. A gift for us from above, united in this pledge of love. Torres Strait. Seas alone, we strived alone. Torres Strait is our home. You're a part of black, green, white, and blue.
So you need that language to talk, the culture to use, and that tradition to practice on to others.
Without your culture, how are you going to identify yourself?
To understand the culture of the Torres Strait Island people, you really got to know the history of the place itself.
As we are being exposed and to Western culture, we are forgetting who we are, where we've come from, and how we got to where we are today. And so by keeping the culture alive, by opening up the dancing grounds and allowing those dancing grounds to be, once again, our classrooms, our libraries, our textbook, and to look at, well, what does this mean for us today and to the future generation?
Wherever you are, whatever you do, regardless of your color, it's true. A gift for us from above, united in this pledge of love. Torres Strait is our home, where we've strived in the seas our Lord. Torres Strait is our home, 'cause what you feel is what you are. You're a part of black, green, white, and blue.